Privacy. I thought I turned it on. What's the other one? Okay, green. Oh, good morning, everybody. What I want to say, I believe that there is no lunch at this moment. And I want to be, this will be the first and only time that I can say this, that I lined up and didn't let them know that we were having a meeting today, even though they know I didn't let the caterer. So food is being prepared as we speak. It will be somewhere in a few minutes, and we'll take care of it. So, everybody, welcome to the Westwood Village Rotary Club, our friendly gathering, everybody. And also, welcome to the Zoom meeting. Look what we got. We got Steve Scher, Mike Newman, Nancy, and Terry White in Hawaii. Aloha. One exciting news this morning with the hostages being released from Russia. So let's give them a round of, if you didn't know, the people that were held captive in Russia are now free.
The journalists,
As well as the other, Paul Whelan and the journalists. So let's give them. One of the things that I was asked, I could talk about. The reason Chris Gainer has not been here is yesterday he had 2 stents put in. He feels he was experiencing shortness of breath. And one of the reasons, and I'll say this to everybody, keep exercising because it allowed him to have stents instead of a mask part down. Okay, so Christina, yeah. So he had said, I talked about it, you haven't seen him. He misses you all, and we'll be here. He's okay. He's okay. I spoke to him. He feels 100% better. And this year, our theme is the magic of Rotary. How great is that? I can go like this, abracadabra. We're good. And by the way, the magic of Rotary, lunch is being served. Go and grab lunch. We'll have the meeting while we're doing it. I'll talk to myself. Go grab lunch. Go grab lunch. You know, table 1, go grab lunch. Table 2, go grab lunch. Table 1. So, yeah, grab lunch, everybody, and we'll take a brief pause.
That's true. Hey.
Yes, and I miss your face this year, okay? When you come here, now we guys, I was I am gonna be over here next Wednesday. Go on. So I'm gonna be with you guys. And we're gonna go grab lunch, because I obviously didn't have it ready, so we're going to take a break for 5 minutes. We're gonna see. We'll be back.
Should have had it.
See ya. That's good. Four-way test. Four-way test. Everybody, settle down. Everybody, John and Lee.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much. Nancy, go. Let everyone stand up.
By people, especially by people with, you know, been mad at people. But what comes out of your mouth, you can't take it back in. Once it's been said, whoever you said it to, is gonna remember. So when you brush your teeth tomorrow morning, just remember that kind words and nice words and sweet words and encouraging words, people will want to remember. You can't get unkind words back into your mouth when someone's said. Thank you.
What's the finish of that? So remember tomorrow, everybody, when you're brushing your teeth, what comes out of your mouth afterward should be as clean and sweet as when you're brushing your teeth.
Then, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You brush your teeth, you get up in the morning or after?
It's a tricky, we'll answer that later.
Immediately after you get up, because most of it's fire, it's about 3 years.
The song of the day is for Mr. Ed Gold, and everybody knows this, even I. So I Rotarian, yes, Rotarian. We have a visiting. Oh, soon to be maybe a member. I don't know. I'm not a breakfast. But, Bob, tell us a little bit about something we don't know about you.
Well, I'm a dentist, and I have a little vignette about a retired widower named Sam. Sam eating Joe's Cafe every night for dinner, 7 nights a week. He and Joe were good pals. But one night, Sam said, "No show." Joe wonders what's different. Second night in a row, Sam said, "No show." So Joe calls the hospital. "What's wrong with the old guy?" "Not a patient." Third night, he sees Sam walking into the Italian restaurant across the street, his main competitor. Flushed with chagrin, he throws off his apron and dashes across the street, oblivious to traffic, and confronts his friend Sam. "I thought we were friends," he says to Sam. "What do you mean, Joe? Of course we're friends. What are you doing here?" "That's what I was gonna ask you, Sam. What are you doing in here? You know this is my main competitor. Did somebody say something to you at my restaurant?" "What? Here?" "Oh, don't worry, Joe," says Sam. "A few days ago, I had a movie out. And when the dentist was finished, I said, 'Are there any precautions?' He told me, for a few days, he's on the other side."
Is this application in a board yet? Yes, I'm gonna, I don't need to alter whatever statute. It's okay. Thank you. So, again, everybody, next Monday, it's gonna be an exciting event at the Geffen or Gil Gates Theater. And Christine is one of the stars of this. And we're gonna have 6 of us going there. And anybody else who would like to go,
We're sold out.
you're sold out.
We're sold out.
So guess what? We can't. Sorry, so a sold out show, we'll report back. I can't wait to see your performance. Announcement. Go down to a few. Saturday, August 17th, there's a district breakfast at, I believe it's, I'm not sure the facility, but it's on, City Club downtown. Again, we will, if you want to come, we will pay you to go. So all you do is register, keep the receipt, send it to Terry, and we'll reimburse you. It's just good knowledge, it's meeting other Rotarians as well. Then I have never participated, and I think it would be a fun event, is the Seaside Splash and Dash. Picnic from 5 to 9 in Redondo Beach. I will send out information to everybody, and we'll see how many people go. What we're gonna do. And then one of the most important things is the gala. That's November 2nd. It is at SoFi Stadium. It's from 12 to 4. I would love the majority of our club to participate. Don't know what the cost is yet. Can I have information on it? What?
$150.
It's $150. Okay, those two, the cost, Rotary Foundation, not all of it, probably, so. And I think that's great, and guess what? Ron, come on in. By Glatt, by the clinical study. Certified really program.
Technologies. Thank you, Webmaster Ron, for the introduction. Thank you all for having me today. I'm very excited to speak with you all. I'm going to make it fast. I'm going to try to make it funny. I'm happy to say that I did apply to be a member of this club, and then I heard that joke, and then I retracted it. But then I can get something for free, and then I go to raise them there. So anyway, all jokes aside, thanks for having me today. I'm very excited to share this presentation with you. I've been working at the Pacific Neuroscience Institute for about 6 years. My background is as a very confused and lost health professional trying to find my way in life. I had a very severe traumatic brain injury when I was a kid. I was very overweight. I was born in 91, to give you a reference point by age, and as a kid I was addicted to video games. I'm sure you're familiar with them. As I was overweight and had a concussion and had cognitive problems, never played sports, very antisocial, did not do well in school, even though I look up here smart because of the glasses now. I will tell you that I got this game called Dance Revolution. Has anyone heard of this game? Yeah. It's a dance video game. And I didn't anticipate how much cognitive benefit would be had. I lost a lot of weight, got into the gym, wanted to help other people do it. So ever since then, I've been fascinated about the intersection of cognitive training for me as 13 I'm sure a lot of you are into World, Sudoku, things like this. We all have different games that we like. Maybe Monopoly, if that's your thing. You got an example. The intersection of gaming, cognitive stimulation, health, and dementia prevention. So I run a space called FitBrain, which is literally a clinical gym where we have individuals with and without cognitive impairment, dementia, Parkinson's, mild cognitive impairment, and even executives looking to stay sharp that come and play games while they exercise at the same time, very much like Dance Revolution on steroids. So I'm very pleased to work at the Pacific Neuroscience Institute. I'm also a board-certified health coach. I really enjoy sharing information that can help people prevent dementia or slow cognitive decline at any age. So raise your hand if you have a brain. Checking, and on a more serious note, raise your hand if you know someone either in your family or in your friend circle that has or currently has or in the past has had some kind of cognitive or neurological impairment, dementia, Parkinson's, MCI, Alzheimer's, traumatic brain, pretty much all of us. And so this represents the issue at hand, which is that we're all experiencing a cognitive and neurological crisis in this world. I think a lot of us will be okay with maybe being overweight, having a little higher blood pressure, but a lot of us would not be okay with losing our mental capacities. And so as a health goal, when we compare it to something like weight loss or anything of that matter, brain health for all people seems to be of the highest priority. Would you all agree with that for yourself, regardless of what age or priority you have? Yeah. So the question I often hear is, what is normal versus abnormal? And the truth is we're all aging. Congratulations. We're all aging. We cannot escape mortality. And it is normal to experience some slight cognitive changes with age. Some of the normal changes that occur with age are slight changes in the processing speed. So raise your hand if you felt like you tried to get someone's name or the name of the restaurant and said, at the tip of your tongue, you just couldn't think of it. We've all had that. Raise your hand if you've temporarily misplaced your phone keys with wall. Right? Where you're like, right? And so a lot of people wonder, like, is this a sign of something serious, or is this something normal? And I'm going to say, could be both. If it's something that happens rarely, or it's due to attention or processing speed, a lot of that can be normal. But if it's highly recurrent and it's happening again and again and again, and it's getting worse over time, we might want to be concerned. So the green line is that slight cognitive change with age. Then there's this phase called subjective cognitive decline. If you notice that over, not just in an isolated incident, but over several incidences, that your brain is just not where you'd like it to be, you should get a cognitive evaluation of any kind. In fact, raise your hand if you're over the age of 30.
Everybody here.
Okay, I'm just gonna double down. Raise your hand if you're over the age of 60. So the Alzheimer's Association recommends any individuals 60 or older should get a memory or brain health evaluation of any kind. And the mistake that most people are making is they're waiting till they or others think there's a serious problem. This is not how we go about this. Raise your hand if you've ever received the mythological colonoscopy. Anybody? A colonoscopy?
Yeah.
Yes. Raise your hand if you enjoy that process. For you, any part of it. Okay, nice. Okay, so in that case, no one gets a colonoscopy because of their ideas of a good time, but we know it to mitigate risk, and we should get a cognoscopy as well, looking at our cognition and our brain health as we would a colonoscopy. Now, if this subjective phase of cognitive impairment continues, there is a risk of what's called conversion to mild cognitive impairment. Has anyone heard of this? Only one of them. Mild cognitive impairment, MCI, is a diagnosable condition. And it's this mid-stage between something normal and dementia. Everyone's heard of dementia. Specifically, the most common subtype, which is Alzheimer's disease. There's also vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, frontotemporal dementia, mixed dementia, pseudo-dementia, so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of people with MCI. In fact, the majority of people with MCI are in the community undiagnosed, where they don't know to go to the doctor, or they don't think it's a problem, or they think it's normal aging. So you can see how there's a lot of misinformation out there. And the important thing is really only 20% of MCI cases may convert to dementia, which doesn't seem like a lot. But that dementia conversion process leads to this condition called dementia, which is really an umbrella term that's cognitive impairment severe enough to cause significant decline in everyday abilities. So a lot of people believe that they can still drive and manage their finances, even if it's difficult early. And what we're trying to say is that the earlier you get checked out, the better. Because if you do have some pre-eminent cognitive decline, at least you can tackle it so you can stay on that light blue line or skip up to that green line before it converts to those later stages. And really kick out and extend that trajectory as much as you can. If you do have MCI, our goal is to do everything we can to extend that trajectory and prevent conversion to dementia. Now, the question is, how do we assess it? For a colonoscopy, it's quite clear, but for brain health, it's not common knowledge about how this gets assessed. So the first thing is subjective cognition. How do you feel? Now, this could be very helpful if you're honest with yourself, but if you don't have what's called good insight, where we all know those people that are about to fall or have memory issues, but they'll never admit it. In that case, it's not good. But in the case that for most of us here are probably aware of our own brain functions, subjective cognition is enough. So for me, I'm 32, I have ADHD. It's been informally diagnosed by a doctor. I'm going to get a neuropsychological evaluation because I want to make sure whether it's true ADHD or not, and to know what I can do about it. So subjectively, I have an organization attention problem. I would like to fix that. And so now I'm getting what's called a formal neuropsychological evaluation. Okay? I don't think I have a serious problem, but I want to improve my function as much as I can, be a PhD, work with the time, wanting to do well in my life, manage stress. So I'm going to get a neuropsychological evaluation in 2 to 4 hours by a neuropsychologist where they assess every cognitive ability. If that sounds nerve-wracking, it is. It is. It's hard to acknowledge what our strengths and weaknesses are and not really deal with this identity of potentially not seeming intelligence. Acknowledge that. But think of it more like a blood test or a blood pressure check for your brain so you can see what's normal and what's not. Then we have neuroimaging. This could be an MRI of your brain to see if it's this proper size, make sure there's no tumor growth in rare circumstances. But there's also electrophysiology. There's something called a quantitative EEG that can look at your brain activity. Is it normal, abnormal, underactive, overactive? And there's other types of brain imaging as well, like PET scans if we're trying to look for the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. There's also genetic testing, blood tests, very simple things like vitamin D and vitamin B12 tests. Those two compounds are really important for neurological function. So those who are vitamin D deficient or vitamin D deficient can experience cognitive and neurological issues. I just found out I'm deficient in vitamin D. I wasn't last year, I am this year because I've been inside writing a lot for my homework for my PhD. So guess what? I'm taking a vitamin D supplement. There's also motor function, balance, grip strength. We just put out a research paper showing that grip strength is related to memory function. The way you walk, the way you're able to walk and talk at the same time, all these things reveal something about your brain health. So at the Pacific Neuroscience Institute, we really try to have people check off as many of these boxes as possible over a period of time to get a really good snapshot of what someone's brain health looks like. And all of these things, for the most part, certain things are not, like there's a blood test that just came out for Alzheimer's disease, looking at amyloid plaque, certain genetic tests like testing for genetic markers of Alzheimer's. Some of these things are out of pocket, but about 80% of these can be covered by most insurances, including Medicare. And by the way, if you're interested in any of these, whether it's with us or your current healthcare system, just ask your doctor for a specialty referral to a neurologist. The main one we're talking about today is lifestyle interventions. We're going to describe what those are: exercise, sleep, nutrition, brain training, cognitive stimulation, socialization. None of these will be a surprise to you, but we're going to look at a very comprehensive view. Cognitive training, like brain games. You've probably heard of Lumosity, your brain AQ at peak, and things like Wordle, the New York Times games are very popular. There are many differences among those, but cognitive training is a way to stimulate your brain in a safe, structured environment. I just started working with a company that's using conversational AI to train someone's memory, asking them 2, 3, and then 4 questions in a row about their interests. Lots of really cool things coming out in that area. Supplementation. I'm not going to say supplements are good or bad, but in the case of vitamin D deficient, I take a vitamin D supplement. So that being added to my diet, that's good. There's also, depending on the supplement in question, like omega-3s, vitamin D, B, if you're deficient in those things, can be very helpful for brain function. There are other things that need more research that I'm sure you go to Whole Foods, or you hear about it on podcasts, or you hear about it on lion's mane, functional mushrooms, not psychedelic, while other ones that could be supplements that people assume are good for brain health. That's a controversial area, but there's a lot of evidence for certain supplements. And then things like non-invasive brain stimulation. Has anyone heard of transcranial magnetic stimulation? It's actually an insurance-covered treatment for treatment-resistant depression. We put a magnet that looks like a coil. It doesn't sound as scary as it is. We shock the brain at low levels like that, and over a period of 30 sessions can actually significantly improve depressive symptoms for those that are not responding to medications. Pretty amazing. That is an insurance-covered outpatient procedure that's available everywhere. We're now researching if we can stimulate underactive parts of the brain that are responsible for memory and cognition. There's also a lot of brain-purpose drugs. A lot of people that have heard of GLP-1 agonists, things like that, those are being applied to other conditions like Parkinson's. There's also stem cells and other repurposed drugs that people are researching. And environment. There's recent research showing that exposure to wildfire smoke increases dementia risk. Also, light, temperature, and other interesting novel therapeutics are out there. So those are some interesting things, but I always say we want to major, or we want to major in the minors. Not major in the minors, major in the majors. The major things that have the most evidence are these lifestyle behaviors. All this other stuff is very interesting, but I say if you want to explore those things, you have to earn it by doing evidence-based things first. So there's this thing called cognitive reserve. That's kind of like your brain's mental gas tank. The more full this reserve is, the longer our brain lasts. So there's something called the nun study. Has anyone heard of the nun study? You don't look at studies about nuns for fun? I do. All right, you may have heard of it. And so they found that upon these nuns lived in their late 90s, they had no cognitive impairment, very social, very active. And when they dissected their brains, because that's what you do with dead nuns, of course, they found that they were riddled with amyloid, which is a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease, but they didn't exhibit any clear symptoms. Why is that? Well, even if you have plaques in your brain, they have high cognitive reserve. Because they were educated, they stayed stimulated, they were social, they were physically active, had good nutrition, or at least that's one of the theories. So cognitive reserve states that if you're healthy, you stay like you keep learning new things, you stay educated, you have a good social support network, you have good mental health, you're always doing things that are stimulating and demanding your brain. So you're going to have good cognitive reserve. The higher your cognitive reserve, the longer we avoid neuropathologies like dementia. So all of us want to have as high a cognitive reserve as possible. Here are the things that are most important, most evidence-based. I'm not going to say one more important than another, but I will say these are the main things. First, I'm going to point out medications and comorbidities. What I mean by that is people who have things like untreated hearing loss. High cholesterol, diabetes, This all increases our risk for dementia. So if we have untreated conditions that have to do with the heart, or blood sugar, or our bodies, even obesity, these things negatively affect brain health. It's been shown in a lot of different research. Has anyone heard of chemo brain for those going through cancer treatment? Right, so that's how something, might be breast cancer, but then we can experience some cognitive changes due to this chemo brain or brain fog. So treating and diagnosing these comorbidities is very important. In fact, a lot of these risk factors are manageable or preventable. So like I said, cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, lean mass, weight management, all these things directly impact dementia risk. Then medications. I'm not saying medications are good or bad, but some people need to be on medications and are not, and that increases dementia risk. And some people are on too many medications. Sometimes when we have these interactions, we don't update that treatment plan, that can actually cause cognitive issues as well. So it's important to work with a specialist. Aside from those things, there are what we call the vital six. Everything except those two: exercise and physical activity, sleep, diet, stress management, cognitive stimulation, social support. Now, a lot of this can be like, are you eating your vegetables? It can feel like, yeah, I know all this stuff already. But when we're talking about human behavior change, it's important to be able to coach ourselves. So what I want you to do is, of those six, think about the one that you do best, that you think you have under control. Raise your hand if you think you do exercise and physical activity the best of these six. Few of us. Raise your hand if you sleep really well. Raise your hand if you think your diet is good diet. One of us. Stress. What about stress? Do we manage our stress, including doing during political stress? Yeah. What about cognitive stimulation, staying mentally active? Who does that? What about staying socially supportive? Right, the social. Yeah, which is really awesome. We should actually do a randomized control trial on the effects of the rate of cognitive. It could be worse. So the idea I really work on for a lot of people with sleep, especially in the context of undiagnosed or untreated sleep disorders like sleep apnea. That's a really big one. For some people, it's sedentary behavior. If you just start exercising once, twice, 3 times more per week, that can make a big difference. So let's go through these. This is going to start going a little fast because we only have about 10 minutes, but I will send out these slides if that's all desirable, and just make sure I'll have my card in case you want more specific information. So here are the elements of a brain healthy exercise program. We should be exercising 2.5 hours to 5 hours a week. I'm sorry. What? No, not 5 hours per day. That is 2.5 to 5 hours per week. That could be 30 minutes to 1 hour per day. Or it could be 30 minutes 5 times a week. That's the minimum. If you're not reaching that minimum, it doesn't mean you're not benefiting, but for a whole host of health benefits, it's this 150 minutes. 5 times 30 would be 150. That's the minimum. So I just like to say, oh, and that's a moderate intensity rating. So raising your hand if you walk exercise. So a lot of us are doing that with walking, but it's not intense enough. So maybe we need to walk faster, do it on a treadmill, do it on a bike. Strength training. Who here does strength training? So strength training is actually one of those things that has one of the most positive impacts on the brain, but most people are not doing it. 60. In fact, individuals 60 or over, about 80% of individuals in the age group are not meeting this clinical guidelines. Now, if you reach that and you want to go even further for our brain health, you have to do more than one thing. So aerobic exercise helps with blood flow, resistance training helps with hormones and muscle mass, and then neuromotor exercising like pickleball. Anyone on the pickleball craze? Oh yeah, yes, I see you, sir. Do you wear the vest when you play pickleball? Okay. That'd be interesting. Neuromotor exercise includes anything that we have to move and think at the same time. Tennis, Tai Chi, yoga, Pilates, pickleball, any rackets, dance, martial arts. We want to incorporate low, moderate, and high intensity. Most of the time, people are doing too low of intensity, or they're like obsessive about high intensity. And we want to incorporate things that challenge our brain. So when you're playing pickleball or you're learning new dance routine, that's what's called open skill because it can be unpredictable. You have to really use your brain while you're doing that thing, and you have to do things you enjoy. As far as diet, who here has heard of the Mediterranean diet? Who here has heard of the DASH diet for treating hypertension? None of us? The MIND diet is a specific diet for treating brain health related issues It includes the Mediterranean and the DASH diet, so it's healthy for the heart, it's healthy for the brain. None of this should be surprising here, don't pay attention to serving sizes, but that's getting too specific. If you want to learn more, you can look up the MIND diet, MIND. You're going to see lots of guidelines, shopping lists, meal plans. Also consult your doctor, nutritionist, dietitian. You know, vegetables, berries, nuts, fish, poultry, beans, whole grains. Who here has heard that wine is good for you?
The what?
Wine, red wine.
Yes.
What about?
Very controversial. Some people believe that no alcohol is really the preference. Don't kill the messenger. I didn't say should kill people want to kill me when they hear that. You know, it's very per your own desire, but definitely see if you can minimize alcohol. We're seeing more and more research that there's actually no really healthy level for brain health, especially if there's already impairment. A lot of the benefits in wine come from this compound called resveratrol. Even in supplement form, whether it's really hyper concentrated, they really found no significant health benefits. So, you know, there are benefits to drinking wine. Yes, sir.
Like wine,
Mhm.
wine.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Would you like to have an after?
Young lady, better.
Come on, the rosé.
It's the serving size issue that is really in the way. Anyway, we can spend all day on that. Sleep hygiene, really important. The way you can have healthy sleep is if you exercise during the day and you're mentally active. Who's had a long day and you just hit the pillow and just knock down, right? So one of the reasons we might sleep is because we need to recover from the day's activities. If your day is not that busy physically or mentally, you may not be sleeping as well. Managing stress, very important. Who's been up at night thinking about politics? Nobody? Good for you. All right. Noise and light, you live in Los Angeles, so good to use like things like blackout curtains, blackout noise. Temperature management, which is very individual. Increasing your sleep drive. So doing things like exercise and stimulating your brain increases your hunger or drive for sleep. And then minimizing caffeine and alcohol before bed. Even if you swear you can drink a cup of coffee before bed and still fall asleep, it doesn't mean that you're entering a deep sleep. So your brain needs to slow down. Alcohol, caffeine speeds your brain up. Screen time speeds your brain up. So you need to do things that slow down your brain. In terms of cognitive stimulation, think of this like a menu at a restaurant. You want to do as many different things as possible within, you know, realistic expectations, especially things you are not good at. Typically, especially in an academic setting when we're growing up, we want to look good in front of our peers. We don't do things that we're not good at. We usually avoid those things, which is why you will not find me in a dance class. They will not see me trying to learn French. I don't like those things. I'm not good at those things. But if my goal is brain health, I should embrace the things I'm not good at to try to get better at them. Chess, there's some games, chess, checkers, board games, math games like Sudoku, Wordle, cards, art, music, reading, museums, socialization, language learning, novel learning, hobbies, taking a new class, gardening, cooking, organizing, physical activities. Really try to think of something that you're not doing that you could start doing and start with that. Really what we find with cognitive stimulation, in addition to avoiding things people actually could benefit from, I'll give you an example. I was working with a retired doctor who had mild cognitive impairment. He has since been improved and is now normal, testing normal. His short-term memory and spatial navigation is very poor. And so he would always forget where he put his car, where he put his things. He had to repeat things a lot. And I said, why don't you take a dance class? He said, I would be caught dead doing the dance class. I said, exactly. And so I compromised by having him take Zumba classes on YouTube at home, and he had to memorize choreography. So you can see how we took an activity, took his weak points, and linked them together. That's one mistake people make. Another mistake people make is not challenging themselves enough. They kind of do the crossword for the day and they say, oh, that's enough. I don't need to do any more. But similar with the physical activity, it needs to be moderate or vigorous to make a change. Yes, ma'am.
You have to be out of here at 1:12, correct?
Oh, I'll finish up in 2 minutes.
No.
Oh,
I just
sorry.
wanted-
Yeah.
want to be.
My Uber will be picking up 1:20.
I want to make sure people can have questions.
Yes, I'm going to wrap up right now and answer questions. That's right. And my promise to you, as your resident health expert, is you all have my card. Any specific questions, you can email me and I'll answer them. That's all the information I have. We, at Pacific Neuroscience Institute Foundation, we have some lifestyle programs. If you're interested in working with us, we do consultations, one-time consultations for your memory, cognition, brain health, anything you're interested in. With neuropsychologists, we do cognitive and memory training classes. We have brain health coaches, the FitBrain Program that I run. We do caregiver support groups and social engagement groups. This is our wonderful team. We've got Dr. Karen Miller, who's a neuropsychologist, Molly Raposo, who's a dietitian and health coach. Me, Dr. Chanel Lagoon, who's also a neuropsychologist, and Inez, if you call us, we'll probably get her. And here's my direct email, our website, phone number. I apologize for the truncated presentation. I'd like to go longer. If you have more questions, or you want to run into Rotarian brain health training, talk. I have no friends, so we can look forward to but happy to answer any questions you have. Well, we have a little bit of time.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Brian, I know that I'm getting up in age a little bit, but I forget the names of people.
Yes.
And I haven't, doesn't qualify as interventions, but at least I know a way to solve that.
Yeah, there's a lot of memory techniques. We call them mnemonic strategies. So Ryan Glatt kosher, things like that, right? You can use these associations, visualizations. There's the memory palace and the story method. There's about 20 different ways to memorize
They
it.
put out the alphabet.
Yeah, that's another way to as an
80% of the time.
Great. And so for a lot of people, it's just about finding what strategies work. The common strategy or the common thing these strategies have is they just get you to pay attention and spend more time on it, which is often what most people do. Mr.
This is something that insurance will cover?
Some services are covered by insurance, ours are not, but we just led it's on YouTube actually, something called Clear Minds that I can send out to be circulated, which was a free training, pretty much everything I presented on, including the memory techniques. That was funded by the LA County Department of Mental Health, so we have insurance covered services, out-of-pocket services, and free services as well. Yes.
Does everybody have plaque on the brain? And is there an age where if you haven't gotten Alzheimer's, the probability of getting it is very low?
There's about, depending on who you ask, up to 40 risk factors for dementia. So age is one of them. It's not the only one, if that answers your question.
I'll email me.
Okay, sounds good.
And we got one more question because he's got a fly. I promised him, yeah.
Right, I would try. Yes, sir.
This is a question, a little anecdote, which I have found help.
Yes.
I asked my doctor, internal medicine doctor, and how about drinking?
Yeah,
Alcohol is toxic,
yeah,
toxic.
yeah.
Yeah, and I like to have a drink with my wife or with a friend.
Yes.
He said,
I can tell this is an important topic for you. No problem. Yes, sir. I'll take it.
This, you remember,
Prevagen. Well, no, that's what it is. Yeah, just talk to your doctor, see what deficiencies you have. Don't buy that. Yeah.
We have one more meeting.
Yeah, I'll get it more. Thank you, everyone.
Let's give him a round. I'm not sure we have something. And more importantly, we can be in touch.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Next meeting, hopefully, Bill, this is, next meeting will be quarter closed. Well, Louis, the head coach, the UCLA, and now, this is an interesting. dreams don't have to be just dreams. You can make it a reality. You just keep pushing, keep trying, then eventually you'll reach your goal. Naomi Osaka, Japanese tennis player.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe her?
You can have dreams, you'll never achieve them if you don't have the capability to do it.
Well, at least you dream about it. Well, we'll get into a philosophical. We do have another 5 minutes. But anybody, and the reason we changed this meeting, obviously, I didn't have lunch there to move things around. But I want to let everybody know that next Wednesday, I will be in the trusted hands of Dr. John Taberry and getting my knee. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm tired of living. And I still play pickleball 3 days a week. Go figure. But, and I will probably not be able to be at some meetings. You know, we can make that. Anytime. Who would like to step up and be president? Okay, everybody, so I just want to let you know, who you pointing to, Ed?
Gordon.
Gordon? Well, maybe both of you.
out, no, they cancel
And does anyone have any questions? Or we all, who did not do a survey that I didn't have? You did what? You did? You did it? You sent it to me. Does anybody here need a copy of the survey to fill out? No, okay, so then what we're gonna do with that information is determine some of the programs going forward. One of the programs that I got passionate about was a surf rider. Gentleman that came over to beach cleanups. And we already went to one restaurant and they are now going to be certified, whatever their certification is, because they qualify. If you know of any restaurants that want to change the way they do their business for takeout, go to stuff that's like, yeah, set of plastic, paper, things that can be biodegradable, that don't ruin the ocean, please let me know. And it's going to be one of my passion projects this year. And that's not just the only thing. We're gonna do some more cleanups in the city, but we don't have any rotor racks. So I told Dave, maybe the 3 or 4 people that are just there every time is not enough to really make it dent. So there are other cleanups I will be sending you in Brentwood, the cleanup, or this is J, what is it? What's the organization? Do you know? BCC. I didn't remember the name. I'm sorry. Okay. Anybody?
August 10th in Brentwood.
What?
August 10th in Brentwood.
August 10th.
ECC is running starting April.
Oh, it's called BCC. It's so if you want, it's not homeless cleanup, it's pickers, it's actually.
Litter.
What?
Just litter.
And by the way, one day I got $20, another time I got down $40. So it could be money making, I think back to the people. Because people don't realize that they leave their money on the street. Where's? Anybody else have any questions? If not, we will call the meeting.
By
the way, everybody, thank you for contributing. We'll not do this again.